Your nan has been handing the BBC £180 a year for the privilege of watching the telly. But right now, all across Britain, hundreds of thousands of pensioners are watching exactly the same programmes for nothing, for half price, or for just £7.50. They are not breaking a single law. They are using rules the BBC writes into its own small print and then quietly hopes you will never read. Number 9 on this list could wipe your license to zero overnight, even if you own your house and have money in the bank. Number 3. Most over 75s are entitled to it and never claim. And number 1 is so simple it feels like cheating. Before we start, hit that subscribe button, because what you are about to learn could save you a small fortune. Let us count down the 25 TV license loopholes for 2026. Number 25. The black and white license. Here is something the telly people would rather you forgot entirely. A colour TV license costs £180 a year from the 1st of April 2026. But a black and white license costs just £60.50. That is a saving of nearly £120 every single year, and it is completely legal. The catch is real but smaller than you think. You can only use a set that records and displays purely in black and white. The clever part that catches people out is this. If you watch through a skybox, a Freeview recorder, or any digital box that handles the picture in colour before sending it to the screen, you need the colour license, even if your old set shows grey. Several thousand households in Britain still hold a black and white license. They are not all eccentrics. Some simply did the sums. Number 24. Pay it once, not in pieces. The BBC offers to let you pay quarterly by direct debit, and it sounds helpful. What they do not put in bold is that the quarterly direct debit carries a surcharge of £1.25 every quarter. That is an extra £5 a year just for the favour of splitting the bill into 4. Over a 10-year retirement, that is £50 you have handed over for nothing. Pay the full £180 in one go, or pay monthly, and that surcharge vanishes. It is a tiny rule, buried where most people never look, and it quietly taxes the pensioners least able to find a lump sum. Knowing it exists is the first step to never paying it again. Always ask which payment method actually costs you more. The honest answer surprises people. Number 23. Beat the April deadline. Every year on the 1st of April, the price goes up. In 2026, it jumped from £174.50 to £180, and the government has already confirmed another rise is coming in 2027. Here is the loophole the BBC will never advertise. Your license runs for 12 months from the day you buy it, at the price it was on that day. So if your license is due for renewal, and you renew it in late March rather than waiting until April, you lock in the lower price for a whole extra year. The same trick works if you are buying your very first license. Time it for the last days of March, and you delay paying the higher fee for as long as the rules allow. A few days of planning, a full year at the old rate. Number 22. The simple payment plan. If a lump sum is impossible and even monthly feels tight, there is a scheme the BBC keeps remarkably quiet about. It is called the Simple Payment Plan, and it lets struggling households spread the cost into smaller fortnightly or even weekly instalments, with no surcharge whatsoever. The government expanded it again recently, adding thousands more households on a case-by-case basis, and uptake has been climbing every year as more people discover it exists. It will not reduce the total you pay, but it turns one daunting bill into manageable pieces without the penalty the quarterly direct debit charges. For a pensioner counting every pound between payments, that smoothing can be the difference between coping and falling behind. Ask for it by name, most people never know to. Number 21. The unused month's refund. Here is one that feels almost too good. If you have a full license and your circumstances change so you no longer need it, the BBC will refund you for any complete months still left on it. Moving into a care home that holds its own license. No longer watching live telly. Sadly, the death of the license holder. In every case, the family or the holder can claim back the unused full months rather than letting the BBC simply keep the money. Yet thousands of pounds go unclaimed every year because nobody tells grieving families this is even possible. The refund is not automatic. You have to ask. But the money is yours, sitting there, waiting for someone to know the rule exists. Number 20. One license covers the whole house. This is the loophole that saves families a fortune and almost nobody realizes. A single TV license covers your principal home and everyone living in it, no matter how many televisions you own or how many people are under the roof. Grandparents, grown-up children who have moved back, lodgers, the lot. So if your nan lives with family, the household needs only one license between them, not one each. Where this turns golden is when an over 75 in the home qualifies for a free license. That free license then covers every other person at the address too, including those well under 75. One eligible pensioner can legally cover an entire multi-generational household. The savings stack up the moment you understand the license follows the home, not the person. Number 19. Covered on your holidays. Off to a caravan, a hotel, or the seaside? Here is a rule the BBC barely mentions. If you are covered by a license at your main home, you are also covered to watch live telly on a device powered solely by its own internal batteries while you are away. Your phone, your tablet, your laptop running on the battery alone. No second license, no extra fee. The catch is the power source. Plug that same device into the mains at the holiday let, and technically you would need that property to be licensed. But for a pensioner watching the afternoon racing on a tablet in a caravan on battery, your home license quietly does the job. People pay twice all the time without ever knowing they were already covered. Number 18. Caravans and second homes. Building on that, here is another the holiday crowd misses. If you own a static caravan or a second home, you do not automatically need a separate license for it. As long as you sign a simple declaration confirming that no live telly or iPlayer will be watched at the two properties at the same time, your main home license stretches to cover the second place. The whole thing rests on simultaneous use. You cannot have the family watching at home while you watch at the caravan on the same evening. But for a couple who use the caravan only when the house sits empty, that is one license doing the work of two. A short form, signed honestly, and a duplicate bill disappears. First pattern break. Here is where it gets interesting, because the next handful are not discounts at all. They are the situations where you owe the BBC absolutely nothing, and most of Britain pays anyway out of pure habit. Number 17. DVDs and Blu-rays. Let us start with the simplest truth of all. You do not need a TV license to watch a DVD or a Blu-ray, not a single penny. The license covers live broadcast television and BBC iPlayer, and that is it. Your nan's shelf of box sets, her old films, the wartime dramas she watches on a Sunday, none of it requires a license to play. You can own the biggest, grandest television in the street and use it purely for discs, and you are entirely within the law without ever paying the £180. The BBC will still send the letters because they send letters to everyone. But a household that watches only physical media owes nothing and never has. The disc in the tray is yours, free and clear. Number 16. YouTube and online video. Here is one that genuinely shocks people. You do not need a license to watch YouTube, so long as you are not watching live broadcast television through it. The cooking videos, the gardening channels, the old music clips, the documentaries uploaded for on-demand viewing, all of it sits outside the license entirely. The line is drawn at live broadcasts. If a channel is streaming a live event as it happens, that counts. But the vast ocean of ordinary uploaded video, watched whenever you fancy, requires no license at all. A pensioner who has swapped the telly for a tablet full of YouTube channels could be paying £180 a year for absolutely nothing. The internet did not abolish the license, but it quietly made it optional for millions. Number 15. The catch-up loophole. This is the big one the BBC fights hardest to blur. ITV's on-demand service, Channel 4's catch-up, and My5 are all free to watch without a TV license, provided you are watching on demand rather than live. Last night's drama, watched this morning. The episode you missed, caught up at the weekend. None of it needs a license. The single exception is BBC iPlayer, which does require one, even for on-demand, so the rule is precise and the savings enormous. Watch everything except BBC iPlayer on catch-up, never watch anything live, and you legally owe nothing. The companies word it carefully so you assume catch-up and the license go together. They do not. Only live broadcasts and iPlayer trigger the fee. Everything else on demand is yours for free. Number 14. Streaming-only households. And here is where it all comes together. Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Disney+, Apple TV+. Every one of these is pure on-demand streaming, and not one of them requires a TV license. If your home watches only these services, Never Live Telly, and Never BBC iPlayer, you do not need a license at all. The checker on the official site confirms it. Most streaming-only households can save the full £180 a year. For a generation of pensioners now perfectly happy with a subscription box and a remote, this is the quiet revolution the BBC dreads. You are not dodging anything. You simply do not owe the fee because you are not using the service the fee pays for. Whole homes are license-free and entirely legal. Number 13. Radio and BBC sounds. People assume that because the BBC runs the radio, listening must need a license. It does not. You do not need a TV license to listen to the radio, including BBC radio stations, and you do not need one to use BBC sounds for radio and podcasts. The license covers television and iPlayer telly, not the wireless. So a pensioner who loves Radio 2 in the morning and a podcast in the afternoon, but never watches live television, owes nothing for any of it. The only line to watch is that BBC sounds must not be used to listen to live TV simulcasts. Stick to radio and on-demand audio, and you are free. Decades of listening, no license required, and most people never realized. Second pattern break. Now, if you have decided you genuinely do not need a license, here is the move that stops the letters and the doorstep visits for good. Number 12. The no license needed declaration. The BBC's enforcement arm relies on one thing above all else: fear. The stern letters, the warnings, the implied visit. But if you legitimately do not watch live telly or use BBC iPlayer, you can fill in a no license needed declaration on the official site and tell them so directly. Do it honestly, and they update their records, and the threatening letters stop for around 2 years before they ask you to confirm again. This is the loophole that turns anxiety into peace of mind. It only works if it is true. You must genuinely not be watching live broadcasts or iPlayer. But for the streaming-only and disc-watching households we have just covered, this single declaration ends the harassment that frightens so many pensioners into paying for something they never needed. Number 11. The blind concession. Now to the concessions, and the first is one of the most underclaimed in the country. If you are registered blind, that is severely sight-impaired, you are entitled to a 50% discount on your TV license. That halves the £180 to just £90 a year, every year, for life. You will need the right evidence, usually a certificate from a consultant ophthalmologist confirming severe sight impairment. Being partially sighted does not qualify, which is the line that catches people out. But for the severely sight-impaired, this is a permanent, government-backed halving of the bill that thousands who are eligible simply never apply for. The BBC will not chase you to claim a discount that costs them money. You have to know it is there and reach for it yourself. Number 10. Transfer it into the blind person's name. Here is the clever follow-on most families miss entirely. For the 50% blind concession to apply, the license must be held in the name of the blind or severely sight-impaired person. If the household license is currently in a sighted partner's name, you do not lose out. You simply make a new application to transfer the license into the blind person's name with your existing license number to hand, and the discount kicks in for the whole household. One change of name on a form, and the entire home pays half. Couples lose hundreds of pounds over the years because the paperwork happened to be in the wrong partner's name. The concession follows the person, so make sure it is the right person. Third pattern break. This next group is the real treasure because it can take your bill all the way down to zero. And the gateway to it is a benefit most pensioners wrongly believe they cannot get. Number 9. Pension credit, despite the house and the savings. This is the great myth the system relies on. Hundreds of thousands of pensioners never claim pension credit because they assume that owning their home or having a bit put by automatically rules them out. The Department for Work and Pensions says plainly that this is wrong. You can still qualify for pension credit even if you own your property, have savings, or have some extra income. It is designed to top up a low income for those over state pension age, and it does not simply slam the door because you own bricks and mortar. Why does this matter so much here? Because pension credit is the single key that unlocks the free TV license for the over 75s. Believing you do not qualify when you might costs you £180 a year and far more besides. Number 8. The savings credit backdoor. Pension credit comes in two parts, and this is where a second chance hides. There is guarantee credit and there is savings credit, and you only need to receive one of them. Savings credit was designed for people who saved modestly for their retirement, and even a small weekly amount of it counts. So a pensioner who is turned down or assumes they earn too much for the main guarantee credit may still qualify for savings credit. And here is the prize. Receiving either part, guarantee or savings, in any amount makes an over 75 eligible for the completely free TV license. People rule themselves out after one knockback. The two-part structure means it is always worth checking both doors before you give up on the free license behind them. Number 7. Your partner's pension credit covers you. Here is a loophole that quietly rescues couples. To get the free over 75 license, you do not personally have to be the one receiving pension credit. If you are 75 or over and you live with a partner who receives pension credit, you qualify for the free license too. The benefit need only be in one of your names. So if one half of a couple draws pension credit and the other has just turned 75, the household gets its license wiped to zero. Couples miss this constantly, assuming both of them must claim, or that the wrong name on the paperwork disqualifies them. It does not. One partner's pension credit, plus the over 75 age, and the free license covers the pair of you and the whole address. Number 6. Apply at 74, not 75. Most people wait until their 75th birthday to do anything about the free license. But there is an early door. If you already receive pension credit, you can apply for your free TV license when you are 74 years old. The BBC will arrange your payments so you are covered right up to your 75th birthday, and then the free license takes over seamlessly, confirmed to you in writing. The point is that you get yourself into the system early, with the paperwork settled and approved, so there is no gap and no last-minute panic the moment you turn 75. A whole year of getting ahead of the bureaucracy. The eligible pensioners who plan at 74 glide into the free license. The ones who wait often pay for months they never needed to. Number 5. The free license covers the young ones too. We touched on this earlier, but it deserves its own number because the savings are extraordinary. Once an over 75 on pension credit holds a free TV license, that license covers everyone living at the main address, regardless of their age. The grandchildren staying over, the adult son who moved back in his 50s, the lodger in the spare room. Every single one of them is legally covered by that one free license, paying nothing for as long as it lasts. So a household does not just save one person's £180. It can shelter an entire family of telewatchers under a single eligible pensioner's free license. This is why getting that one qualifying claim sorted is worth so much more than the headline figure suggests. One free license, a whole house covered. Fourth pattern break, and now the two that beat even the free license for sheer surprise, ending with the master key that unlocks the lot. Number 4. The £7.50 care home license. This is the one almost nobody outside the care sector has ever heard of. If you live in qualifying residential care, supported housing, or sheltered accommodation, you may be entitled to an Accommodation for Residential Care license, known as an ARC. It costs just £7.50 a year, not £180, £7.50. To qualify, you must be retired and over 60 or disabled, and the accommodation itself must be eligible. The scheme manager or housing manager checks your eligibility and handles the application on your behalf, so there is barely any effort on your part. It covers watching in your own private room. For pensioners who have moved into sheltered or supported living, this turns a £180 bill into pocket change, and far too many residents pay the full whack simply because no one told them the ARC license existed. Number 3. The free over 75 license itself. Here is the headline prize the whole list has been building towards. Any person aged 75 or over who receives pension credit is entitled to a completely free TV licence, paid for by the BBC, worth £180 a year. No discount, no instalments, free. And as we have seen, it covers the entire household and everyone in it. Nearly 900,000 pensioners could cut their bill from £180 to zero this way. And a shocking number never do, because they either do not claim pension credit or never realise the free licence followed from it. The blanket free licence for all over 75s ended years ago, which is exactly why this targeted one is so easy to overlook. But it is still there, still funded and still waiting. If you are over 75, this is the rule to chase above all others. Number 2. Cancel completely and stream. For the pensioner who is done with the whole business, here is the legal nuclear option. If you genuinely stop watching live broadcast television and stop using BBC iPlayer, you can cancel your licence outright, claim a refund for any full months remaining, file the no licence needed declaration, and never pay the £180 again. Fill the gap with Netflix, Prime, the free catch-up services, DVDs, YouTube, and the radio, every one of which we have shown needs no license. The annual saving funds several streaming subscriptions over and you still come out ahead. This is not evasion. It is choosing not to use the one service the fee pays for and telling them so honestly. For a growing number of households, the cheapest license of all is the one you no longer need. And finally, number 1. Claim the pension credit first. The simplest, most powerful loophole of all is not really a TV trick at all. It is this. If you are over state pension age and on a low income, check your pension credit eligibility before anything else, because it is the master key. It does not just unlock the free over 75 TV license. Pension credit can also help with housing costs, ground rent, service charges, and a whole basket of other support while opening the door to the £180 license saving on top. The DWP makes clear that savings and home ownership do not automatically rule you out, so the only real mistake is assuming the answer is no and never asking. One phone call to check. The free license, and so much more, can follow from it. That is the loophole hiding in plain sight. So there you have it. 25 perfectly legal ways British pensioners are paying the BBC less, or nothing at all, in 2026. The licence is full of doors. Most people just never try the handles. Check which of these applies to you. Share this with someone over 75 who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments which one you never knew existed.